हरे। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोधानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Keep your phones in mute. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare। Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada की जय। Mute your phones, keep your videos on. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने। श्रीवार्षभारवी देवी दैताय कृपाकये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्य जल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिद श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ति दीनकारिणे रूपानुग विरूपाप सिद्धांत ध्वान्तहारिणे। नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रम्बर सांभोधे पादंबुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंदनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्नि गौरतिषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपः स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधाकांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पंगोर्मम मन्देर्मते गति मत्सर्वसपदां भोजौ श्रीराधामदनमोहनौ दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नाकर सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमङ्गलासारं देवं श्रीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनैर्गोपैर्गोपीनाथ श्रीयस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Keep your videos on. Everyone's video will be on except for few who have small children. If they are disturbing, it's okay, you can keep your videos off. But others should keep your videos on, then only I will mark your presence. Because just now I heard somebody talking, Anupama, hello, how are you? It doesn't work. You are in a classroom and I expect some discipline from your side. When the Mangalacharan is going on, at that time you are supposed to chant Mangalacharan from your end also. If you're traveling, if you're coming back from the office, still your concentration should be there. You're not supposed to pick any of the calls when the class is on, or as much as I'm lenient, I'm very strict also. I will be straight away cutting marks. I will not be marking your presence at all. So keep your videos on. Bhakti Shastri videos should be on. And that will be seen by Bindu Mataji and Chandrapati Prabhu. I will not be watching that. So whoever's video is off, I cannot help, except for few who have small kids, but they are very mischievous and they will draw attention. Their videos can be off. Yes, Anupama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, right now I'm in the office here. I will take your time to be at home. Yeah, that's why I have kept my video off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try as much as to be sincerely attending the class.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Mute your phones. So we'll be starting with the second unit. We have 24 classes total, 209 verses in all. Bhakti Yoga, we know Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. The first 6 chapters spoke about Nishkama Karma Yoga. If you see, the Nishkama Karma Yoga has been very elaborately spoken in 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, 4th chapter. And 1st chapter, anyhow, it is an introduction, it is a summary, the story, everything. The Purva Kriya means the reason why Bhagavad Gita is spoken. 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, and the 4th chapter clearly speaks about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Now, Nishkama Karma Yoga, to culminate in knowledge, that is spoken in 5th chapter. How Nishkama Karma Yoga culminates in Jnana. So what is the real meaning of Jnana? Jnana means understanding the difference between soul, body or matter, we can say, and the controller of soul and matter. Then how this matter can be utilized in the service of Krishna. How this soul is subservient to Krishna. So 5th chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. If you see, it started with Karma Yoga, that is 3rd chapter, Jnana Karma Yoga, 4th chapter, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga has been spoken in 5th chapter. So what is the meaning of sannyasa? Sattanyasa. Sattanyasa means in the search of absolute truth, giving up material propensity. So that is sannyasa. So 5th chapter is culmination to knowledge. How the Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, Nishkama Karma Yoga, I don't expect anything. But for whom am I doing all these things? That is given very nicely in the chapter. 6th chapter speaks about Dhyana Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga has been spoken. Now, in the last verse, if you see in the 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantaratmana shattavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamavataha yuktatamaha. This word is given, yuktatamaha. See the last verse of the 6th chapter, because 7th chapter links with this last verse of the 6th chapter. The whole section, Bhakti Yoga, starts from this 47th verse. Yoginam api sarvesha. Among all the different processes, we are not now counting devotional service among these processes. There are various processes. There are Ashtanga Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, there's Jnana Yoga, there's Karma Yoga. But here, very, very clearly it has been given that devotional service is not counted among these. If you keep all these processes on one side, and there is Bhakti Yoga in another side, what is considered by Krishna? Krishna says, I consider that person who worships me with great faith. Mad gadenantaratmana. What is the meaning of Mad gadenantaratmana? Is completely surrendered to me. His atmanaha, his consciousness is completely in me. So here Krishna consciousness has been spoken. And then Shattavan bhajate yomam. He is completely dedicated to me. Shattavan bhajate yomam. He has so much of faith. And bhajate here refers to he performs devotional service. And devotional service always begins with chanting the holy name, hearing about him and chanting. Shravanam Kirtanam. Shattavan bhajate. In this way, I am completely, he is completely attached to me and he serves me. Shaddavan bhajate yomam same yuktatama mataha. That is why he is yuktatama. Yuktatama means he is completely surrendered to me. So there are two types of devotees. Sannishtha, Parinishta. How many of you know this? Sannishtha. Or you're coming across for the first time, somebody can raise hand and say, Sannishtha, Parinishta, these two words. Yes, Sudha Mataji. Yes, unmute yourself. Anyone can speak out. Yeah. Are you coming across this word, Sannishtha, Parinishta, for the first time, or you have heard in the previous class?
First time, Mataji.
Anishta, what we have heard, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Mataji, Dandvat Pranam.
Yeah. Who is speaking?
Yeah, Mataji, I know only one that is Kanishta. Kanishta means those
I'm not talking about Kanishta. I'm telling Sanishta.
who are neophytes in bhakti.
I'm not talking about
they are
Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama at all. I am speaking about Sanishta and Parinishta. Okay. Mute your phone. Sanishta and Parinishta. First 6 chapters speaks about Sanishta. You should know these words, S-A-N-I-S-H-T-A, Sanishta. What is the meaning of Sanishta? A person is performing his prescribed duties. He is not having any attachment to the results of the duties or whatever work he is doing. He is offering everything to the Lord. That is known as Sanishta. Nishtha means he has faith. Sa means he is doing his prescribed duties. It is not that he has given up his prescribed duties. He is doing it. But he is offering the results to the Lord. So that is counted in Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama means he doesn't have any attachment. He is doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. And slowly, slowly, he attains Atma Jnana. That means he understands his position. That is how by performing Ashtanga Yoga, he understands his position in relationship to Krishna. Then slowly he understands the form of Lord, he understands that he's subservient to Krishna, he's servant of Lord, then he becomes a Parinishta Bhakta. Now, what is this Parinishta Bhakta? That is explained in the middle 6 chapters. First 6 chapters spoke about Sanishta Bhakta. He is performing his prescribed duties. He is slowly taking up the process of Nishkama Karma Yoga. Slowly he tries to attain Atma Jnana by Ashtanga Yoga. But now he wants to grow in devotional service. And growth in devotional service is dependent on 9 types of practices, which Prahlad Maharaj speaks. 9 types of devotional services. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. You know this? Who can chant this verse? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay. One Neeraj Prabhu. Who is going to say? Okay. Narayan Damodar.
Haribol.
Narayan Damodar. Yes, chant.
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedam.
Yes, these are all the 9 types of devotional practices. Shravanam, it begins with Shravanam. So, Parinishta Bhakta, now they have taken up these processes. So, Nishkama Karma Yoga is there, it's automatically there, but that has matured into Bhakti Yoga. That maturity has come. And what is that maturity? To hear about Lord. That is why here Yukta Tama is given. Yukta Tama. Tama means he is the topmost. He is now connecting himself to Krishna in these different types of processes. One is Dhyana Yoga, in which there is Yukta, connection is there. And slowly what happens? That Dhyana attains a stage of Samadhi, where the connection is more better, isn't it? More better. That is Yukta Tara. Now it is more better. Then comes Yukta Tama. Tama means it is topmost. The connection is so much that he can understand that Krishna is a person. Krishna is a person and there is a personal dealing of every soul with Krishna. That is why that is Yukta Tama. So you see the stages: Dhyana, Samadhi, and Bhakti. Every dhyana is not bhakti. Every dhyana should mature to bhakti. Okay, I'm concentrating. Okay, I'm concentrating. That is yukta. I'm trying to connect. Samadhi. We have studied one verse. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam. Which is that verse in the first unit? Anybody can say? Bhogaishwarya
prasaktanam. Tyaparta chetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Samadhavana vidhiyate.
Samadhavana vidhiyate. In that, if you see in the purport, Prabhupada speaks from the Nirukti dictionary. What is Samadhi? Read out that what is Samadhi. Raise your hand and all will speak, then it will be like, who will read? Unmute yourself and read. One of you read. What is the meaning of Samadhi? It's not you're digging yourself and burning yourself. Yes, Samadhi. Maithili, what is Samadhi?
Mataji, I'm just searching for the number. I
Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam.
I remember the verse. But
Okay,
not
Kanchan
the
will say. Mute your phone. Kanchan, where is Samadhi?
Samadhi means fixed mind.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam. Samadhi means to very firmly stay in Krishna consciousness. That is Samadhi.
What is given in the purport? Read the purport. What is the meaning of Samadhi?
Samadhi.
Read the purport. Open. Bhogaishwarya.
Mind.
No, don't tell anything. Just see the purport of Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam. What is given?
The meaning of samadho is given as the in the controlled mind, and the in the purport it is given as the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So it's a resolute determination.
Samyag adhyate asmin atmatattva yathatmayam. Learn this verse. On Wednesday, I will ask everyone. This verse is this meaning is very, very important. Samadhi. Sa means samyag. Samyag means completely. Samadhi. Adhyate. Dhi comes for adhyate. Sam adhyate. Adhyate means meditate upon. Samyag adhyate asmin atma tattva yathatmayam. Atma tattva, my relationship with Krishna. Atma tattva, paratattva, that has to be understood. A Bhakti Shastri student, you should know these verses. What is the meaning of samadhi? Even in the sleep also somebody asks, you should say, Samyagadhyate asmin atma tattva yathatmayam. Will you learn? All of you will learn this verse. On Wednesday, I will ask. Samyagad, because if you don't know this word, Samyagadhyate asmin atma tattva yathatmayam, if I don't know my relationship with Krishna, then what will I understand what is bhakti?
Which is that the shloka number, Mataji?
Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam, which is the shloka number
2.44, Mataji.
Yes, 2.44 in that purport. See the purport of 2.44. Krishna says, whoever is engrossed in sense gratification, bhoga, Ishwarya, he can never attain samadhi. Samyagadhyate asmin atma tattva yathatmayam. So that is why dhyana matures to samadhi, samadhi matures to bhakti. That is why yukta tamaha has been given. Yukta, yukta taraha, yukta tamaha. These three words again. Note it down. Yukta, yukta taraha, yukta tamaha. Yukta means connection. Yukta taraha means matured connection. Yukta tamaha is topmost. So, parinishta bhakta, they are interested in yukta tamaha. 9 process of devotional service, which begins with hearing about Krishna. That means you are hearing about a person. That means you are understanding Krishna is a person. He is not just Brahman realization. He is a person. He is not just Paramatma. Yogis have realization up to Paramatma. Jnanis have realization up to Brahman. But a bhakta has realization in the Bhagavan aspect. That means the personal form of Krishna. So naturally, every jiva has a personal relationship with Krishna. And that can be understood only by hearing. Now see the 7th chapter. So these 2 words, Sanishtha, first 6 chapters, Parinishta is the middle 6 chapters. Parinishta. Interested in devotional service, sevate or bhajate, understanding the personal form of Lord. You see the 7th chapter, how it starts. Jnana Vijnana Yoga. What is this chapter? Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnana means, okay, understand the difference between matter, soul, God. Vijnana, application of this knowledge. Okay, I understood there is a difference, but I have to apply it. So Vijnana means the scientific process, application. The science students, they go to laboratory to practice. So practical application of the knowledge is there in this middle 6 chapters. So we'll see how it begins. Maya Sakta Maya Sri Bhagavan Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Yatha Gyasasi Tachrunu. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Yatha Gyasasi Tachrunu. Okay, Daya Sagar Prabhu, unmute yourself, read the verse. Unmute yourself. Read the verse. 4 or 5 times you'll see. Yeah, others can read without.
Purport.
Yeah.
In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad
Read the
Gita,
verse. Hari bol, read the verse. Shri
Oh.
Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Mai Asakta Manaparta, Yogam Yunjam Mad Ashraya, Asamshayam Samagram Man Yatta Gyasya Jnasitach Shrinu.
Okay. Ashok Prabhu, read the verse.
Hare Krishna. Maya asakta manah partha yogam yunjam madashraya asansyam samagram mam tatha yasyasi tach shrunu.
Hansrupi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Maya Sakmana Partha Yogam Yunjan Vadashraya Asanshayam Samakam Mam Yata Gyasasti Tatsunu.
Kanchan Mataji. What's the initiated name? Yesterday she got initiated. Yes, what is the initiated?
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Kanchan,
Why?
which the 2 Kanchans are there, right? Here. Okay. 2 Kanchans. Okay, Kanchan Mishra. Speak.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Maya Sakti Manah Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Shanshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyashyasi Tachanu.
Okay. Bhaktani Mataji. Actually, you should put your initiated name in the. Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Mataji, which chapter it is?
7th chapter, right?
7th.
Where are you?
No, I had Bhagavad Gita ka only, no? The son of Drona punished. The son of Drona
What is going
punished.
on? You are in Vaibhav, Bhakti Vaibhav or in Bhakti Shastri?
Bhakti Shastri, Mataji.
So where is son of Drona punished here?
Chapter 7.
Bhagavad Gita or Bhakti? Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam?
Bhagavatam.
Your Prabhuji is in Bhakti Vaibhav, you are in Bhakti Shastri, Mataji.
Okay, yes, Mataji.
Okay. Jumur will say.
I'll 5 minutes, I'll take them. Yes, Mataji.
Jumur will speak.
Maya sakta manah partha yogam yukman madashrayah
Yunjan.
asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnanasi tashnu.
Maya sakta. Okay. Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu. Last. Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asanshyam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasasi Tashrunu. Hare Krishna.
So now see word to word meaning. Maya Sakta Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Mute your phones. Maya Saktahan Manaha Partha. Maya, unto me. Asaktaha Manaha. The mind should be attached to me, Krishna says. Asaktaha Manaha. Partha, oh Pratha, Putra Partha. Yogam Yunjan. Yogam. For the self-realization. Yunjan, practicing. Madashraya. Madashraya. Completely surrendered to Krishna. Complete consciousness in Krishna. Asamshayam. No doubt, without any doubt. Samagram. Completely Mam. Krishna says, me. Yatha. How? Gyasasi. You can know how to attain me. Shunu. Try to hear. Now see here, this word Shrunu is very important. There, what was there in 6th chapter? Yukta Tamaha. This Yukta Tamaha can be categorized only when a person has an inclination to hear. That is why this word starts with Tat Shrunu. You must be thinking why I passed the time with the first unit. Already we have completed everything. We wrote our exams also. Now just we have to go to the second chapter, second unit. Second unit is related to the first unit. Krishna speaks about Yuktamaha. So who is that Yuktamaha? Who has an inclination to hear? Tat shrunu, Krishna says. And how to hear? Without any doubt. Don't have doubt. Asamshayam, Krishna says. Don't have doubt. Just surrender unto me. Mind should be attached to Krishna. That means don't doubt that Krishna is a person. Just connect yourself to Krishna, Krishna says. And practice yoga in full consciousness in me, Krishna says. In me. That means what? In person. Krishna is a person. That has been very clearly told by Krishna himself. Because Arjuna could have asked, is Yuktatamaha, I should connect to whom? But he did not ask that. He should have asked. So many times he has asked so many questions. But why he did not ask this question? Yuktatamaha, to whom I should connect? Which form I should connect? And Krishna very clearly says, connect to me, Krishna says. Without even Arjuna asking a question, just see what is the mercy of Krishna. Krishna shows the full compassion, very compassionate. Without even putting a question, without having any doubt, raised by Arjuna, Krishna himself says, don't have any doubt. Samagram, completely absorb yourself. Maya saktaha manaha, absorb yourself in me. Let me be the worship of yours. The object of your worship should be me, Krishna says. Whoever takes shelter of me in any of the rasas, dasya rasa, sakya rasa, vatsalya, madhurya, he will attain exclusive love for me. So in this way here, very clearly, Krishna speaks about shrunu, tashrunu. This can be understood only by hearing process. So the purport, the first verse, first paragraph. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. Okay. Now, one of you, Janardhan Prabhu, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Am I audible, Mataji? Yeah. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of 6 At the end of 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna. Everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is the ultimate beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about the Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestation with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says, Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, hear from me. No one can be greater authority than Krishna, and therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from the pure devotee of Krishna and not from the non-devotee from start. After
Okay, one. From here, Narayan Damodar will read. Till here, what is said, whatever we now discussed, by that last verse of Bhagavad Gita, or sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita is there, and how that last verse speaks about Yukta Tamaha. So Yukta Tamaha are the devotees. Yuktaha, Yukta Taraha, they are like Jnanis and the yogis. Like you can say Dhyana, Samadhi, which matures to Bhakti, Seva. So that is what is Yukta Tamaha. So that has been spoken in these two paragraphs, three paragraphs you can say. Now what does Bhagavatam speak about this? Narayana will read. Unmute yourself, Haribol. Some problem in the phone. Okay. Mahesh Sangam, Prabhu, you read. Unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the second chapter of the first canto of Bhagavatam.
Shrunatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hardayantasto Yabhadrani Vidanoti Sahasatam Nashtapraesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadayaschaye Chete Terna Vidham Sitam Satve Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogatah Bhagavat Tattva Vikyanam Bhakta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hridaye Grantes Chidyante Sarva Samshayah Shiyante cha sakarmani Drishta evatmanishvare. So we know the stages. 1 minute. We know the stages. Shraddha to Prema. That has been given in this. Shraddha to Prema. We know the 9 stages in devotional service. These verses come in Markine Bhagavat. You know what is Markine Bhagavat? The song which Srila Prabhupada wrote in the ship when he was traveling to America. He got 2 attacks. So while writing Markine Bhagavat, he puts these verses from Bhagavatam. We are supposed to chant these verses every day. So try to memorize these verses. You'll say, oh my God. So don't put a message to me, OMG. Sometimes I'm in a fix. What is OMG? Oh my God. It is not oh my. So we have to learn these verses. It is very, very important verses. Srila Prabhupada especially speaks about these verses. These are the verses which shows the stages from Shraddha. That is, first is what? Adau Shraddha. You learned this now in the first unit. Adau Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha. You got these verses that time? No, it will come. Okay. Adau Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Somebody told me, oh, Bhakti Shastri class is very nice. Let us go and join it. So then I just joined. I don't know what is going on. I had no faith in Krishna, but somehow somebody told me a satsang program is there. That is why I joined. Komala Shraddha. It's very, very delicate. Komala Shraddha. Now this Shraddha led to Sadhu Sangha. That is association of devotees. So naturally somebody says there is a doctor and I go there. Then doctor starts giving me medicines. That is known as Bhajana Kriya. So the process has started. Bhajana Kriya. chanting of the holy name has started, reading Bhagavatam has started, Bhagavad Gita, everything has started. So Adau Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. Now, because of this Bhajana Kriya, all our anarthas goes away. Slowly, slowly. There are 6 types of anarthas. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Slowly, slowly, the anarthas is washed. And then the stage comes of Nishtha. Nishtha means now that Shraddha has become very strong. Even if somebody says me anything, I will not give up the process. In the beginning, Shraddha stage, somebody says something, I'll just cry, I'll stop going to the temple also. But in Nishtha, no. Let anything come, not a problem. I will still perform the devotional service. That is known as Nishtha, fixed up. And when a person is fixed up, then his taste changes. That is Ruchi. Next stage is known as Ruchi. The taste changes. Now the taste is spiritual. Material taste is slowly, slowly going away. Practically, it is washed away. So now the Ruchi, the taste is spiritual. And then comes Asakti. He is completely attached to Krishna. And when that Asakti is there, then the Bhava emanates. Sometimes what happens, when we go to temple, we start crying and we see we are in the Bhava stage. After we come out of the temple, we are interested in Govindas and all. That means the Bhava is just flickering Bhava. I cried because, oh Krishna, how much trouble you are giving me. That is why I am crying. I am not crying, oh Krishna, that I want to chant when my hairs will stand like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells in Shikshashtakam, Nayanam Galadashrudhariya, Vadanam Gadgadudayagara. That stage yet has not come. I cry because this ISKCON people have told me to chant 16 rounds. Therefore, that also people cry. So they are just behind me. So, Bhava means complete love for Krishna. Now, this Bhava then matures to Prema. And then the desire is there to see Krishna. Then Krishna reveals his form. So in this way, 9 stages, which has been technically given into 14 stages by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. When it comes in Nectar of Devotion, we'll be dealing with that subject. There are 14 stages in devotional service. At least you should know 9 stages. And these 9 stages has been given in these section, in these verses of Bhagavatam. Shrunutam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridantasto yahapatrani vidunoti sruhasatam abhadrani. Shrunutam, by hearing the faith is there. Hearing process has started. When the hearing process is started, naturally hearing means sadhu sangha. Abhadrani means all our abhatras, that is bhajana kriya has started. When this bhajana kriya happens, then what happens? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. All our abhatras goes away. Nityam bhagavata sevaya. So I want to serve Krishna. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So bhajana kriya, anartha nivrutti, then nishtha. Nishtha means now I'm fixed up. When I'm fixed up, naishtiki, tada rajas tamo bhava. Naturally, my taste changes. This rajas and tamas gave me material taste, but now the same taste has become now spiritual taste. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayasche cheteter na vidham stitam sattve prasidati. So now my taste has changed. My attachment to Krishna has grown. Evam prasanna manaso bhagvat bhakti yogataha. So because of that, the bhava prasanna manasaha bhagvat bhakti yogataha. I just want to serve Krishna. Bhagvat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. So bhava prema has aroused. Vidyate rekrantis chittante sarvasamshaya. I don't have any doubt. Shiyante chasa karmani drishta ivat manishware. That is how Krishna reveals himself to that person. So these are the verses from Bhagavatam. You don't have to memorize, but if you memorize, it will be very good. It is not going to be asked in exam. But if you memorize these verses, at least we'll understand what Krishna wants to say in this samagram. Asamshayam samagram mam. Asamshayam samagram mam has been given in the last verse. Vidyate hridaye granthis chidyante sarva samshaya. Krishna completely removes all the samshaya. And here what Krishna says about here? Krishna says, Asamshayam, don't have any doubt. Bhagavatam also speaks about that only. Don't have any doubt. Shiyante chasa karmani. I will reveal myself, Krishna says, Drishtevat Manishware. I will reveal myself. Everybody wants to see Krishna, but there is a process. We just cannot say, oh, Krishna, come before me, then only I can believe you. No, there is a process. Krishna says, Adav Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivritti Ruchi Asakti Bhava Prema, and then Krishna reveals. In this way, these verses speak about Asamshayam Samagram Mam. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna consciousness. So, okay, this purport, finish it out. Read the purport. Mahesh Prabhu, read the purport of the verses which has been given, the meaning for the verses. Unmute yourself, Mahesh Sangam. Read.
Text 2, right? The complete knowledge include knowledge of
No, what you're reading. Here I said,
okay.
Shruvatam Sokatha Krishna, meaning of those verses. Just read it. I've explained it, just read it.
Okay. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures, or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita itself, the writer's activity, and for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best patient friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engaged in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dharma, transcendental knowledge, as he hears from more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam, and from the devotee, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the moods of passion and ignorance, and those material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enveloped by devotional service, and understands the signs of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga serves the heart knocked of material affection and enables one to come at once to stage of Asmashayam Samagram, understanding of Supreme Personal, Absolute Truth Personality of Godhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, important words in this verse is Tashrunu, Asamshayam, Samagram. Samagram refers to complete. Krishna is complete. That means he is full in everything. We have 6 opulences of Krishna. Who knows that verse? 6 opulences of Krishna. Raise the hand. What is that verse? Anybody can recite the verse? Yes, Vandana Mataji.
Mataji, I cannot recite the word, but I know all the opulence. All beauty, all beauty, all fame, all knowledge, all strength, all renunciation, and all opulence.
Okay. Memorize this verse. Aishwarasya samagrasya viryasya yashasa shriyah jnana vairagayaschaiva shannam bhaga itingana. You should have the important quoted verses of Srila Prabhupada. Being a Bhakti Shastri student, you should know the verses. Try to memorize the verses. The more you have the inclination to learn the verses, it will give you more interest in studying. or just like English words. Aishwarasya. Aishwarasya means Krishna is full in opulence. Aishwarasya. Samagrasya. What is the word here? Samagram. Isn't it? Samagram. Krishna speaks about this. Aishwarasya Samagrasya. This verse is given by Parashar Muni. Samagrasya. Viryasya. He is all strength. He has all the strength. Viryasya. Yashasha. He is all famous. Shriyaha. He is very beautiful. Yashasa Shriyaha. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. Viryasya. Yashasa Shriyaha. Jnana. He is full in knowledge. Vairagya. He is all renounced. Jnana Vairagya Yaschaiva Shannam Bhaga Itingana. So I'll be putting this verse in the group also so that you can memorize the verse. This verse is very important because Samagram has been given. Samagram is what Krishna is expecting. Understand me in full. And what is that full? Krishna has all the 6 qualities in full. That is what Krishna means here. Understanding that he is a person with all the qualities in full, and don't have doubt. Krishna says assumption. Don't doubt in this statement. So these 3 words are very important. Asamshayam, Samagram, Tashrunu. If we have these 3 things, then what Krishna says that you can understand me, Maya Sakta Manapartha. Naturally, your mind is completely absorbed in me because you have understood that I am a person. Then you can serve me very nicely. And for that, you have to hear about me. Okay, let us see the second verse. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyami sheshatah yajgyatva neha bhuyotyaj jnatavyam avashishyate. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyami sheshatah yajgyatva neha bhuyotyaj jnatavyam avashishyate. Narayan Damodar.
ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषते यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयो ज्ञातव्यम् अविशिष्यते.
Kamalakshi Mataji. Unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Tandat Pranam Mataji. Jnanam deyagam sa vijnanam idam vakshyami ase satagha yajnatvanega bhuyya natavyam avasishyate.
Very good. Anupama, unmute yourself, open your video. Anupama. Okay. Okay, you're still in office? No problem. Next, Kiranmai Mataji. Kiranmai. I think no one is sleeping. Kanchan Mataji, read the verse.
Jnanam teham savijnanam Savijnanam idam vakshamya shesatah yajjagyatva neha bhuyo anyajji gyatavyam vasishyate.
How many breaking you did? Okay, chant after me. Jnanam teham savijnanam.
Jnanam teham savijnanam
idam vakshamya sheshatah.
idam vakshamya sheshatah
Ashe yajgyatva neha bhuyo nyaj. Gyatavyam avashishyate. Okay. Krishna is speaking about now Jnanam and Vijnanam. This chapter is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnanam, Krishna says, phenomenal knowledge. In English, what you can describe? You can describe like this. That is why English becomes a very imperfect language to understand the real meaning of the Sanskrit. Jnanam, okay, phenomenal knowledge. Te unto you, aham, I, servith Vijnanam, numinous knowledge. Now to learn these verses only, these words only, you'll be breaking your head. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur very clearly says phenomenal knowledge means opulence of Krishna. Numinous knowledge here means sweetness of Krishna. Krishna says, till now I taught you Jnanam. That means I taught you my power, I taught you my opulence. Now there is something known as Vijnanam, that is sweetness of Krishna, which is very difficult to understand. But whoever understands the sweetness of Krishna, Krishna says, I'm going to explain this. And what is that sweetness? You'll as and when we'll be progressing, in the 9th chapter, we can see how simple is Krishna, how sweet is Krishna, how innocently Krishna says, please give me everything to eat. It is sweetness of Krishna. So now here Krishna says, Vijnanam, I'm going to teach all these things. I'm going to teach you Jnanam, I'm going to teach you Vijnanam. And after explaining all these things, you don't have anything else to be understood. Asheshataha, I will be giving you full, I'm going to give you all this knowledge. After understanding this, avashishyate, there is nothing more which you have to understand. Nothing further shall remain for you to know. This knowledge is enough. Jnanam, Vijnanam. Okay, little technically again. Jnanam, understanding the difference between body, soul, and body, soul and God. Vijnanam, application of this knowledge, by which one understands his connection to Krishna. After understanding this, there is no other knowledge required. There is nothing left, Krishna says. Okay, Vishwambhar Tiwari, read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Read.
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Purpose. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. It is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above-mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord, in disciplic succession, directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes and the only object for meditation, all types of yoga techniques. When the cause of all causes become known, then everything knowable become known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Manduka Upanishad 1.3, Mundak Upanishad 1.3 say, Kashminu Bhagavo Vigyante Sarvam Idam Vigyatam Bhavati.
Sometimes we spend our time in reading newspaper, general knowledge. We want to know many things. But Krishna says this thing, Kasmeno Bhagavo Vikyate Sarvamidam Vigyanam Bhavati. Whoever knows Krishna, that means whoever knows to serve Krishna, whenever, whatever required that time, that knowledge will be revealed by Krishna to that person. You don't have to break your head in understanding so many things, whatever is happening in different parts of the world. If there is some solution which you can give, fine. By knowing so many things and spending hours and hours to know many things, that is not required. Krishna says, if you know me, if you know my power, if you know my sweetness, if you have that understanding that I'm a servant of yours, and if you're just serving me, whenever, whatever is required, I give that knowledge to that person. This line is very important. Kasmeno Bhagavo Vikyate. When Srila Prabhupada quotes, don't just take it very lightly. Try to memorize these quotes also. See, Acharyas, when they are quoting from different literatures, Upanishad, now see Mundaka Upanishad, quotation has been given. Immediately you should know this. Kasminu bhagavato vigyate. If you know me, Krishna says, sarvamidam vijnanam bhavati. Everything you will know. Now this is related to this verse. Krishna says, asheshataha. There is nothing which you will not know. You will say, do you know this science? Do you know that? Do you know this? One answer is, at least I know how to cross this ocean. I know the path. There's a drama also played by generally the college students and all in our temple. The boatman says, there's a scientist who sits on the boatman in the boat, and he's asking the boatman, have you studied something in mathematics? He says, no. Oh, your 25% of the life is wasted. Do you know something in biology? 50% life is wasted. Know something in chemistry? Hey, what I'll know? I'm an unpad gavar. Okay, 75% wasted. Physics? 100% life is wasted. And there is flood, the storm, and then the boat is going to sink. At the time, the boatman says, do you know to swim? He says, no. Then your whole life is wasted. So we think that this material knowledge is going to cross us from this birth and death cycle. But this material knowledge is only useless. It is not going to come to use in any way. Okay, for some time, for keeping our body and soul together, for earning something, it is okay. But that is not going to help us cross this material ocean. It's only Krishna consciousness. And that is what Krishna is saying. If you know Jnanam, if you know Vijnanam, if you know the difference between the soul, matter, and the controller of the soul and matter, and if you know to apply this knowledge, then there is nothing left to be known. So first two verses speaks about Krishna consciousness, how to connect oneself to Krishna by practicing Krishna consciousness, how to connect oneself to Krishna. That has been given in first and second verse. Tashrunu, by hearing and by understanding, there is nothing else to be heard, nothing else left to be heard, you can say. So these two verses instructs how by practicing yoga in Krishna consciousness, one can know Krishna in full, that too without a doubt. Now let us see the third verse. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvatah. Okay. Vandana Mataji, read the verse.
Nishyanam sahasreshu kada kaschid yadati siddhye yatatma api siddhyanam kaschin mama veti tatvatah.
Okay, chant after me. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Mayapur Viharani Mataji, read the verse.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yuttatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvatah.
Sometimes we think, why there are not many people who come in Krishna consciousness, so much of advertisement we do. And after doing so much of advertisement, only a few take up to Krishna consciousness. Krishna has given the count what we can do. Among 10 lakhs, one will come. That means that much advertisement you do, then one will come. 1,000 into 1,000 is how much? 10 lakhs. Manushyanam sahasreshu. Among thousands of men, one among them, sahasreshu, one among them will endeavor for perfection. Manushyanam, of men, sahasreshu, out of thousands, kaschin, there will be somebody who will endeavor, at least will try to take it up. Slowly, he'll try to take up for perfection. Siddhaya. Yatatamapi siddhanam. Out of those endeavoring for perfection, one, kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. One will know me in person or in truth. One will know me in truth. That means out of 1,000, one will endeavor, and out of those, again, one, if you take and count as 1,000, and among that 1,000, one will know me in truth. That is what is a count given by Krishna. That means among 10 lakh people endeavoring for Krishna consciousness, one will know Krishna in truth. So knowledge of Krishna is very, very rare. It's not so easy to be understood also. It is said thousands of men, they may take up, they may endeavor, different processes are there. Somebody may try to know oneself as Atma, and somebody may try to meditate on Paramatma. And they will all do this by the association of saintly people. So in this way, they'll try to realize Atma, they will try to realize Paramatma. But in that endeavor, one who understands that Krishna is a person and serves him, that person has understood Krishna in truth. When you say Krishna in truth means understanding the three features of Krishna: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. That is why Krishna in this chapter will come now. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Sa mahatma bahunam janmanamante. It will take thousands and thousands of births also to understand that this person Vasudeva is everything. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. This Vasudeva is only Brahman, this Vasudeva is only Paramatma, and this Vasudeva is Bhagavan himself. When that verse comes, we will be speaking about what is the meaning of Vasudeva in relation to these three words, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So it is not so easy to understand that Krishna is a person. Even before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were doing some ding-dong bell, isn't it? We were knowing many demigods also. We had some deities of Krishna also. But Krishna eats, we were not knowing. We used to sing, Kaun kehte hai, Bhagwan khate nahi. All these songs we were singing. But Krishna is a person, Krishna eats. That is very difficult to understand it, and it requires the guidance of our authorities. That is why Acharya's guidance is important to understand this meaning, that Krishna is a person. That is why it is given here. Vetti tattvataha, Krishna is a person. Among 10 lakh people who are endeavoring to understand Atma, Paramatma, one will understand Krishna in truth. That has been given. Okay. Hansrupi Prabhu, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, and hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested.
Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. This verse also I'll be putting in the group. Ahara nidra bhay maithunam cha samanya hitat pashubhir naranam dharmoi eko adhiko vishesho dharmai hina pashubhir samana. This ahara nidra bhay maithun. Ahara means eating, nidra means sleeping, bhay means defending, maithun mating. These 4 activities are done by animals also. In science also we have studied. Man is a social animal. Yes, he is an animal. Till Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Remembering or not? First unit. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. From now, let me understand the real truth. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. So that inquiry has started. When the inquiry starts, then we are categorized as a human, or till that time he is only an animal, but a social animal. Okay.
The
Manoj
first
Jha
six chapters.
Prabhu, Manoj Jha Prabhu, read from here. Yes.
And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve personal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is the supreme person, but at the same time he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempt to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sripada Sankaracharya, has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman.
Okay.
Krishna
Bhaktani
is the supreme
Mataji,
personality of
Bhaktani
Godhead.
Mataji, read from here.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Mute your
The
phones,
cause of
others
all.
mute your phone.
Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all the causes, the primary Lord Govinda, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidanand Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although
Anupama
non-devotees
Mataji,
declare
mute your phone.
Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the path of bhakti is so easy, as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. The so-called path of bhakti, practiced by the unauthorized persons without knowledge of bhakti, may be easy. But when it is practiced actually, according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Shruti Simriti Purandi Pana Pancharata Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpataya Yava Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Ratra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society.
Okay,
It
one
is
minute.
not.
Wait.
Ji.
Srupa Goswami speaks in Bhakti Rasamrita. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatika Vidhi Vina Aikantika Harer Bhaktir Utpate Vahi Kalpate. So just doing whatever comes in my mind, that is without referring to Shruti, Smriti, Puranas. I'll do whatever comes, that is Bhakti. I and my God, that is not at all caring for the rules and regulations. Utpate vahi kevalam is only going to create disturbances in the society. Pancharatrika vidhi vina. Pancharatra has been given by Narada Muni. Pancharatrika vidhi has been given. But I am not at all caring for all these things, no rules and regulations. I will do whatever comes. I can't take a Hare Bhaktir. That means I will follow my own rules. I am not at all bothered about the acharyas, no shruti, no smritis. And that person is going to create disturbance in the society. Daya Sagar Prabhu, read.
Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. It is not possible for Brahman realization, for a Brahman realized impersonalist or Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. as the son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muhyanti yat Surya Man tu Veda Nakaschana. No one knows me as I am, the Lord says. And if one does know him, then Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, Tattvataha, even though one is a great scholar or philosopher. Only the pure devotees can know something of the inconceivable transcendental qualities in Krishna, his being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees only can realize him as he is.
Okay,
Therefore, it
stop
is
here.
said.
Stop here. So here, very clearly, it has been said, Krishna has all the six opulences in full, and only devotees can understand that Krishna is a person. Person means personality. Personality means qualities. He has all these qualities in full. Okay, from here, Narayan Damodar.
Therefore, it is said, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriyai sevonmukhe hi jivhadau swayam eva chita surati adaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234.
A very important verse. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi. To understand Krishna, Nama Adi. Nama Adi refers to Nam, Rupa, Guna, his parivara, that is parikaras, his leelas, his pastimes. When you say, I love Krishna, I should love six things of Krishna. That is his name, his form, his qualities, and his leelas, his parivara. Parivara means the devotees, and his form. We are talking the form, name, form, qualities. Okay, these are the three things: name, form, qualities. If I love the name, if I love the form, naturally I will love the name also. Name, form, his qualities, his parivara, that means his devotees, and then his leelas, his pastimes. 5 things, not 6, 5 things. I should love 5 things of Krishna. If I don't love any of these one thing, that means I don't love Krishna. If I don't love devotees, I don't love Krishna. You say, I love devotees, I love Krishna, but I don't like devotees. Then he doesn't like Krishna. If I don't like to chant his name, naturally I don't love Krishna. I don't like to worship his form. I don't want to appreciate his qualities. That means I don't love Krishna. So 5 aspects are included in Krishna. So that is what is given. Atha Shri Krishna Nama Adi. Na bhavet grayam indriyahi. By my senses, I can never understand him. Sevon mukhai jivado. The more you serve, the more you serve. Krishna reveals his knowledge to that person. So Valmiki was a hunter. Just imagine. Just because of the mercy of Narad Muni, he could write Ramayana. So that is why Sevon Mukhaihi Jivado. You say, where did he serve? He was a hunter. He got the association of a sadhu. He got the seva. That is why Krishna revealed. So that is what is given. Next verse. Bhumirapo Nalo. Now, fourth, the fifth, we'll be speaking about Krishna's different types of energy. we have three potencies: internal potency, marginal potency, and external potency. Now, external potency and the marginal potency will be discussed in this fourth and the fifth chapter, fifth verse. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirev cha ahankariti yamme vinna prakritirashtada. Okay, Neeraj Prabhu, please read.
वायु मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकारी भिन्नां प्रकृतिनिष्ठा.
Yeah, I think your connectivity is not proper. Okay.
Oh, can you
Bhumirapo
add
nalo
Bhum?
vayu kammano. Yeah, read again.
Okay. भूमिरापो नलवायु खम्मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति याम्ये भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा.
So we have learnt in the first unit 20 in the introduction. We have learnt 24 elements are there which comprises this matter: 5 gross, 5 knowledge gaining, 5 working, 5 sense objects, then 3, that is man, buddhi, ahankara, mind, intelligence, false ego, and 1, that is pradhan, which comprises of 3 modes of material nature. How many of you don't know? Please raise the hand. If you don't know, please raise the hand. If you don't know, all of you know? Wow. All of you know there are 24 elements. Vishwanath, Vishwambar, Tiwari, Mataji, I don't know your name. You know all the 24 elements?
No,
Vishwambar,
Mataji, I
Tiwari.
don't.
Vishwambar Mataji. What is your name?
Vishwambar Tiwari Mataji.
She must be having some name, no? What is your name? Meera.
Sudha Mishra.
Huh?
Sudha Mishra.
Sudha.
Yes.
You have joined in here also. Sudha, there are 2 Sudhas or what?
No,
Here
ma'am.
also.
No,
So you are
Mataji,
also Sudha. There is also Sudha here. Okay. Will
I
you
have
know all the?
I have joined from my mobile also. That's why 2 names is on here.
Okay, you know the 24 elements. Do you know the 24 elements? In the introduction, it was taught 24 elements.
माताजी 24 elements पढ़ाए थे क्या?
Huh? What?
5 sense organs.
5 sense.
5 Panchabhut Tattva.
Voice is not perfectly audible. Okay, Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu, can you describe the 24 elements?
Yeah, Mataji. 5 gross elements, 3 subtle elements, then 5 working senses, 5 knowledge gaining senses, 5 plus 5, 10, 15, 18. Then
5 sense objects.
5 sense objects and 1 is pradhana.
Pradhan. Okay. Anyone else wants to try out? Aneja Prabhu. 24 elements.
No, 24 elements I know. I don't remember, frankly. 24
Don't remember,
elements.
write it down. All of you now write
Okay, I will write. Right.
down. 5 gross elements. Write down. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. 5 gross elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Now, 5 knowledge gaining senses. How will I understand there is earth? How will I understand? Like first rains fall. There's a fragrance which comes. So that earth can be understood by smell. Isn't it? So what is that sense organ? That is nose. So for earth, it is nose. For water, how will I understand this is water? By tongue. By tongue. So, water. Fire. How will I understand it is fire? Who can tell?
Eyes, Mataji.
Eyes. Don't say touch. You not touch and see this is fire. Eyes. Air. Skin. Ether. Ears. The vacuum where the sound travels. So in this way, you have made another 5 column. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, 5 knowledge gaining senses. Corresponding 5 sense objects. For earth, it is nose, so it is smell. For water, it is tongue, so it is taste. For fire, it is eyes, so it is sight. For air, it is touch, so it is skin. For ether, it is ears, so it is sound. Sense objects has come. 5 working elements or working organs. That is hands, legs, mouth, anus, genitals. So 5 working. Okay. Now 3 subtle elements. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. Mind, intelligence, false ego. Here became 23. Then one's activity is governed by 3 modes of material nature, which is technically known as pradhan. Pradhan. These are the things which you should know. 24 elements. And out of that 24 elements, Krishna has given 8 in this 4th verse. 8. Bhumi, Apaha, water, earth, water, Analaha, fire, Vayu, air, Kham, ether. Na? Bhumi na ponalo, Vayu, Kham manoh. Kham, till Kham it is gross elements. Gross elements. Then 3 subtle elements is also given. Man, Buddhi, Ahankara. Subtle, which cannot be seen. Gross can be seen, subtle cannot be seen. If somebody will ask, is there any God? Then immediately you should say, do you have intelligence? And you cannot see your own intelligence. I cannot see your intelligence. Where is the question of you seeing God? So, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. In this way, 8 elements has been spoken. And these are Krishna's separated material energy, Krishna says. So 8 elements, 5 gross, 3 subtle has been given. So that means 8 is given out of 24. So 16 is remaining. And in that 16, what is there? 5 sense object is there. 5 sense object. You have 5 working elements. No, and 5 knowledge gaining elements. And 1 pradhan. That is how 16 has not been spoken. And here it is going to come in the further chapters. But here 8 material energy has been spoken, or you can say external energy has been spoken. Okay, Mohini Mataji, read the purport. Mohini Mataji, unmute yourself.
Purport given by Prabhupada ki jai. The science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. Material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusa incarnation, that is expansion, as described in the Sattva Tantra. Vinostu Trini Rupani Purusa Kasnayani Atho Vidhu Ekam tu Mahata Sasra Divi Dvitiyam Ta Ala Samsatitam Triyam Sarva Bhuta Sam Tani Jatva Vimuchate For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnu's. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates the total material energy known as the Mahatattva. The second is Garbhadakshay Vishnu, enters into the universe, into all the universe to create diversities in each of them. The third is Dakshay Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading super soul in all universes and is known as the Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Everyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement.
Okay, stop here. Stop here. So here now, Srila Prabhupada starts with three types of Vishnu. The science of mute your phones. The science of God analysis, the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. Now, intentionally, three expansions of Lord has been spoken here. Because material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnations. How this whole Prakriti emanates. It is because of three Vishnus. Vishnus to Trini Rupani. Trini Rupani, there are there are three kinds or three forms, you can say. The first is Purusha Kyani Atho Yuduhu. First is Ekam to Mahata Srashtu. It is Mahavishnu or Karanadakshay Vishnu, who glances at Mahatattva. Mahatattva is a combination of 24 elements. Now, Karanadakshay Vishnu or Mahavishnu, who is lying in the Karana ocean, is glancing at this Mahatattva, which is a combination of 24 elements, infuses two energies inside. What is that? Just by glancing. Jiva Shakti and Kala Shakti. Two energies are infused in these 24 elements, and immediately various Brahmandas emanate from the body of Lord. And Lord again enters in all the Brahmandas as Garbha Udakshayi Vishnu. Because he's entering in every Brahmanda, that is the Garbha Udakshayi Vishnu. Then again there is creation which is done by Brahma. Brahma emanates from the navel of Garbhadakshay Vishnu. Now Brahma further expands or further creates, where again Lord enters in every creation as Shira Udakshayi Vishnu, lying in the Milky Ocean and then maintaining everything. That means everything is maintained by Krishna. Even though inferior energy, external energy is considered to be inferior energy because it has no consciousness. It is Jada. Jada means no consciousness. But given by whom? By Krishna. Maintained by whom? By Krishna. That is why even though inferior, it is energy of Krishna. It's just Jada Brahman. Like Brahman means energy. You have Jiva Brahman, you have Jada Brahman, you have Para Brahman. Now we are talking about Jada Brahman. Jada means no consciousness. So here 5 gross and 3 subtle has been spoken. So further the purport, read at home. On Wednesday we will describe. Any questions you can ask. Any questions, raise your hand. Okay, Gadi Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, will you please once again brief the connection between chapter 6 and 7?
Okay. First, what is there in chapter 6? Chapter 6 speaks about Nishkam Karma Yoga. In the, especially 2nd, 3rd and 4th, speaks on Nishkam Karma Yoga. 5th speaks on Nishkam Karma Yoga culminating in Jnana. We should know that knowledge also. And that knowledge can be more matured if a person contemplates or does dhyana. Dhyana means meditates. And this meditation again matures to samadhi. And this samadhi matures to bhakti. That is why yuktatmaha has been given. Yuktatamo, yuktatamaha. So yukta, yuktataraha, yuktatamaha. This tamaha refers to topmost of the one who is connected to Lord, and that is by bhakti. And that can be understood only by hearing. That is why you see yuktatamaha and tachrunu has been spoken. For that, Shraddha is important. Shraddhavan bhajate yoman. Bhajate means service is also important. Without service, yuktatamaha cannot be understood. And that yuktatamaha can be understood if a person understands that Krishna is a person first. That is why Maya Saktamana Partha, Krishna says. Maya Sakta. Because have that asakti or attach yourself to me. Yoginam api sarvesha madgadena antaratmana. You see. You see the first line and you see this first line. Compare these two verses. Then we can understand that is now the stage of parinishta has started. What is that parinishta? Hearing and chanting process has been emphasized. What is anishta? Okay, performing nishkama karma yoga. Offering to Lord, everything is there. But inclination to hear about Him. Inclination to serve Him by glorifying His qualities, His name, chanting. That means the desire for chanting, desire for hearing about Him has been emphasized. So that is Bhakti Yoga. Nothing, just expansion of Yukta. Yukta means connection. Yukta, Yukta Tamaha, Yukta, Yukta, Yukta Taraha, Yukta Tamaha. Okay.
Thank you,
Kanchan
Mataji.
Mishra.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, I have not understand what is Karano Dakshai Vishnu, Garvo Dakshai Vishnu. Will you please explain again?
Three Vishnus. What is the meaning of Vishnu? Vishati iti sarvatra Vishnu. One who cannot be stopped from entering anywhere and everywhere. Vishati. Vishati means entering. Now three types of Vishnu are there. So what is the first Vishnu? Karana Udakshai Vishnu. Lying on the Karana ocean. Karana means causal ocean. There should be a cause for expansion of this material world. Now you must have studied various avatars in 4th chapter. Did you study?
Yes, Mataji.
Various avatars?
Yes, Mataji.
No? That means you have not studied first
Yes.
unit. You have studied. Leela Avatara, Shakti
Yes,
Avesh
Mataji.
Avatara. Yes. Okay. So how these all avatars emanate from Balaram? Krishna expands as Balaram. Then Balaram expands in different forms. And now Balaram only expands as three Vishnus. That is Karana, Garbha, Shira. Karana means lying on the causal ocean. He has to create this material world. So what he does, there is an aggregate of all these 24 elements which becomes the darkest portion in the whole of spiritual world. There is a dot which is very dark. It's just a dot. Krishna glances at this dot. And this dot is now impregnated because of the energy which is infused by Krishna, Jiva Shakti, Kala Shakti. And in a matter of time, so many Brahmandas are created. And that is how Krishna enters every Brahmanda as Garbhadakshai Vishnu. And that is where from the navel of Krishna, Brahma comes. Now, Brahma has been given the responsibility of secondary creation. And that is how so many, like Jiva Shakti, Kala Shakti, and the 24 elements, and according to one's own karmas, a Jiva gets a particular type of body. But then everybody has to be maintained. Who is going to maintain? Shiradukshai Vishnu enters every creation as Paramatma. That has been given. So Shiradukshai Vishnu is a Paramatma. So here creation is spoken. Material creation is spoken. But who has done that? It is three Vishnus. That is why Srila Prabhupada begins this purport with three types of Vishnu. Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Dayasagar Prabhu, your answer is.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I have a question regarding 6.3, which is
6.3 or 7.3?
7.3. Sorry. There is a similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.14 or 0.5 and 6.14.4, which actually this verse is very difficult to understand in one point, that how we can expect that there are many, that whole world will accept this science of Bhakti Yoga, when it is very rare actually that somebody becomes devotee. So it's a little bit, so there are few maybe questions here, but the main would be like, it's very difficult, like to attain, to understand Krishna and to become pure devotee. What chance we have actually? It seems like not so great chance.
Okay. 6th chapter, 14th, 6th canto, 14th verse, 14th chapter, 6th canto, 14th chapter, 5th verse speaks about Muktanam api siddhanam Narayana Parayana Sudurlabha Prashantatma Kotishvapi Muni Mahamuni. So Muktanam api siddhanam, there may be many liberated people unattached to the body, comforts. They may be doing so many types of siddhanam. There may be some perfect people also who may be doing many types of siddhis. Rashtra siddhis, they may have attained that. They are not interested in any bodily comforts. Muktanam, api siddhanam, api means even though they may be siddhis, siddha purushas, Narayana Parayanaha. It is not so easy to become Narayana Parayanaha. That is what is given here. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatataamapi siddhanam. There may be many siddhi purushas. Kaschin mam veti tattata Narayana Parayanaha. Sudurlabha Prashantatma. So they are all very durlabha. It is not so easy. Kotishvapi Mahamuni. Among 10 lakhs. So there are such people. So Muktanam api siddhanam. So like this, the same thing has been given. Many people are endeavoring to know the truth, but they don't know how to know the truth. That is why association of devotees is very important. ABCD square. Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks about association, book reading, chanting, deity worship, dambas. Without these 5 important limbs, one can never understand Tattvataha about Krishna, about the personal aspect of Krishna. Maybe yogis may be there. There may be Siddhi Purushas also. They can become lightest of the lightest, heaviest of the heaviest. They can walk on water. They can remove some lingas. They can go to some planets. They can have some Vashikarana. They can do that also. They can, whatever they desire, that can happen. But among all such siddhis, just because of the association, especially, that is why this verse is spoken. Atha Shri Krishna Namadina Bhaved Grahya Indrihi Sevon Mukhai Jivado Swayameva Stutyata. Without service to the Vaishnavas, how that even the Shraddha stages come? Knowingly, unknowingly, one has done some service to the devotees. Getting mercy of the devotee. That is why that stage of Shraddha has also come. Why should you have faith in your friend when he says that go to that satsang program? You heard him. Why you heard? Just because mercy of the devotee, and knowingly, unknowingly, you have done some service to the devotee. Because of Shraddha. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur puts this: mercy of the devotees and service to the devotees. They become the cause for Shraddha. And that Shraddha matures to Prema by our sincere endeavor and mercy of Krishna. Okay? Oh. Any other doubt? Okay. So your homework, I'll be putting 2 verses. What is the 2 verses? Aishwarasya samagrasya viryasya yashasa shriyaha jnana vairagyaschaiva shannam bhaga itingana. That was 6 qualities of Krishna. That verse I'll put. And what is the another verse which I had told you? Anybody remembers? Anybody remembers? So I'm not remembering. What did I say?
Madam, it is the
What?
Samadhi verse. Definition of Samadhi.
Huh? Your voice. One of you speak, not everyone. Just one of you speak. Yes. Which verse?
Definition of Samadhi verse, Mataji.
We can't hear you.
You are not audible, Mataji.
Madam Mataji,
Yeah.
it was Madam Ahara Nidra Bhaya.
Yes, yes. Ahar Nidra Bhaya Maithunam. That was also there. Samadhi was there, and Aishwarya Samadhis. So all these 3 verses, try to memorize. The more we memorize the Sanskrit verses, the more we can become Bhakti Shastra student. I had gone to Chandigarh for preaching. I still remember, they used to not read the Sanskrit verse at all. They used to just start with English translation. You cannot relish the subject. You can relish the subject only when we study the Sanskrit verses very nicely. It's not very difficult. You will understand. Okay, here we stop. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Where is Naina Manjari on your video? Naina Manjari is my grandchild. Hari Bol. Say one verse. Say Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Tell one verse. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu.
Kirtanam Vishnu, Nayanam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasya, Shastram Matmani Vedanam.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Naina Manjari, Hari Bol.
So after every class, you will chant one verse. Okay? Okay? Hari Bol.
Okay, Mataji.
Right.